Welcome to number 21, Chinuch at Home. Thank you, Yeshiva Darkei Aliyah and Chazak and Torah Anytime for your sponsorship. Question: how can we build children's resilience? Well, actually, you don't need to, because they've already got resilience. And if there's anyone who doubts this, ask yourselves, well, how are the kids actually doing, considering that they are out of school, they're out of their routine, they're not able to mix with their friends in the usual way, they can't go out and do sports in the usual way. Many things that they've taken for granted have changed. And how are they doing, considering? And I think most of us would have to admit, wow, they're pretty resilient. They have adapted one way or another. But this particular metaphor, I'm going to share with you two metaphors. One is true, one is false. And you're going to help the children figure out themselves which one is the right one and which one is not true to reality. Take a piece of paper and scrunch it up. You tell them, scrunch it up. Throw it. You can shout at it, call it names. Then unscrumple it and tell them, oh, by the way, you must ask them, be careful not to tear the paper. So let them look at it now and tell them, say sorry to the paper. Sorry. Okay. This is the best you can do to get it back to what it was before, or you can't get it back to what it was before because of all these creases. Well, guess what? When you bully a child, it's permanent. You can never get it out. That's scenario number one. The child is the victim. The child is hurt. It'll never heal, never be able to finish letting go of the way I've been treated. I'm not playing this lightly. Go to scenario number two. Take a clean sheet of paper. Ask the children, each child, to scrumple it up. Stomp on it. Call it names. Unscrumple it. Again, remind them not to tear it. Unscrumple it and say, this is what happens when a child is bullied. But fortunately for you, you are not a piece of paper. You're a human being. And inside you, you have a neshama that is powering your body and your mind. And you can never damage the real you, your neshama. You can never put a bullet through a soul. It's impossible to cut up a neshama. You're not a piece of paper. You're never damaged. Do you know why? Because what you're thinking is the real you. And when I think of thoughts of yesterday and water the weeds, when I think of what's black in my life and I don't pay attention to all the white that we did with that black spot in the metaphor of a large piece of white paper, when I'm paying attention to the hammer banging me and I'm blaming all sorts of people and places and debt and circumstances and politicians and the coronavirus, etc., not realizing that what's hurting me is not the actual item on the outside, it's the thoughts that I'm hitting with myself and who's holding the hammer. You are never permanently damaged unless you think you are. And so one of the ways to help a child realize they are always resilient is this is not the sum total of your life, because the sum total of your life is what are you doing inside you. Moshe Rabbeinu had a really hard time being raised in Pharaoh's palace, being almost executed. David HaMelech had a very hard time with his family, with his kingdom. Any single one of the Avos Imahais that you want to select, and you will see that they did not have easy lives. But guess what? They weren't damaged. Do you know why? Because this is where life really takes place. You're part of their DNA. You're never damaged unless you think you are. And so letting go of thoughts that are hurting me and saying, Rebbeinu Shalom, you're the one who created this virus. You're the one who can take it away. You're the one who is behind everything, and there's nothing you can't do. Hakol Yakol. There's everything he's able to do. In the schus of us imbuing into our children, Emuna Shalema, Hashem is only always good. Good. Toiv Hashem Lakol. We say every day 3 times. Toiv Hashem Lakol. Hashem is good to everyone. And other types, which is equally valid, Hashem Tov Hashem, lakol, Hashem is good for everything. You can talk to him for anything and everything about anything. Go to bed at night with your children and remind them Hashem loves you no matter what. Mommy, Daddy love you no matter what. No matter how much screaming and shouting, and sometimes you hear us arguing, we love each other, and we're going to see through this, because this is not what life is really about. This is what life is really about. Hatzlacha Rabbah.